the Trump administration sit well with women's rights advocates? Do the protests set the tone for the new presidency? Here, help us to understand better about that, we have a political commentator coming from the U.S., Ms. Schwartz, who joins us from Washington, D.C. She served in the White House during the Clinton administration. Ms. Schwartz, welcome to our program. Briefly from you, what do you think is the nature of this demonstration going on in the cities around the United States and also around the world over the weekend?
I think it has already made a great impact because women's voices were heard. I observed the one here in Washington, D.C., Tian, and it was filled not just with women, but with grandparents and multi-generations and children and grandchildren and quite a lot of men, by the way, both gay and straight, Democrat and Republican, because they were all there supporting women's rights, whether that was for themselves or for their mother or their grandmother or an emerging country. It was a terrific first step and peaceful and joyful, and it really communicated a message that it's not only about the rights that you went through at the top of the show, which you really completed, but it's now activating them.
All right.
So the next step is even more critical than it was on Saturday with the joining together.
Before we talk about the next step, Lauren, let me ask you, because some of those Republican advocates have been talking about this demonstration, inside Washington at least, it's not necessarily about women, it's about pro-abortion. It does not rally women from around the country together for one cause. Do you agree?
Yeah, it's definitely larger than just pro-life or pro-choice. Roe versus Wade, which is pro-choice, was settled in 1973 here by our Supreme Court. That's come under fire during the campaign of now President Trump. But this is just one of the many issues that came under fire, whether women should be held accountable and punished if they were to get an abortion, though abortion is currently legal. So it's everything from the rhetoric from the campaign that even those that voted for Trump, maybe because they didn't like Hillary Clinton, still weren't in agreement with. And I think that's just a wonderful exercise in democracy, especially the day after an inauguration.
But the thing is, what's next? Ms. Schwartz, at this point, over the weekend, impressive. But what is going to be the nature for the next step? Is it going to be against your president? And what does that make about this demonstration in the future? Briefly from you.
I think it is somewhat against this president, of course, the policies that he's enacting and the rhetoric that he's discussed on the campaign trail. But I think it's more about a catalyst to begin having more women and men that believe in women's rights being human rights in places such as local and state officials that will become on the national stage. So it's about grooming young adults as advocates, adults as members of Congress or city councils, and really taking a stand and getting involved so that your voice isn't heard just once a year or once every 4 years when we have a presidential election, but every day. This has got to be the start, not just the end of a movement.
I see. Well, it's got to be a start, but the start of what? Of movement of what? It still needs to be discovered.
Getting more women involved in politics.
All right.
Absolutely.
With us.
Getting more people involved, politics and organizations alike.
All right. Laura Schwartz in Washington, D.C. with us. She used to serve for the Clinton administration. Thank you for being with us. You're watching World Insight with Tian Wei.